I'm stepping in the club like where the fuck the party at? I'm stepping in the club like...
Okay, peace guys. Today I'm gonna make a video about how to get a Halloween look which is quick, easy, and you don't necessarily have to have special effects product to achieve them. So let's jump right into the first one. Okay, for this look you need some eyelash glue, some of your leftovers. I always keep them in case I need them for something like this. What we are going to do is we will use the eyelash glue to do some scratches and then color them with stuff you probably all have at home, which is red lipstick and eyeshadows. To start this one off, you're just gonna pick a glue and open it up. Or why? And ideally it has an applicator like this, but even if it hasn't, you can dump some of the eyelash glue on the back of your hand and then pick it up with a toothpick and use this one. You can do this on top of your base like I do, or you can just do it on top of your bare skin. I just like to do it to I like to have some kind of a base down so I can work really well on the coloring afterwards, and I don't have to worry about the base and getting everything matching and stuff like this. It's also important that the glue dries transparent. What you're gonna do is you're just gonna paint thin lines just on your skin. The cool thing about those applicators is that you really can draw the lines very thin. You don't have to worry about the realism not being there, because it's only important really that you get some thin stripes going. And you want to make sure that these stripes look very random. Also gonna do some above my brow. I'm just gonna do them on one side of my face so I can show you the other trick that I have on the other side. Okay, you're now gonna let this dry. You can see that the glue is dried when it's completely turned clear, and that's also what you want. Now you need an arrangement of red lipsticks. Actually, you only need two. You need a very dark one and a more light one. I'm just gonna use some cheap ones from the drugstore here. It doesn't necessarily have to be a very specific brand or anything. What you want to do is just get some of the lipstick. I'm just using my spatula to scrape some off. You're gonna need a fluffy synthetic brush, or you could also use your fingers. I like to use a brush and then go back in with my fingers. You want to make sure that there's not too much product on the brush, so make sure to tap it off on the back of your hand first. And you just want to start to add in the general irritation that would occur with your scratches. This will make the scratches, the actual scratches, way more obvious, because the latex will really grab on the lipstick. See that they are turning pretty red. I refer to eyelash glue as latex in this video simply because that's actually what it is, just much more expensive in a smaller bottle. And I'm also going to pat the red on around the area that we've scratched, just to show that there's a general irritation there. You can use your finger to blend this in. You don't want to use too much product at once. That's kind of the key with special effects makeup in general, that you shouldn't use a lot of color, especially not if you start to build up on the wound, because it can easily be too much and you can't rub it away that easily. Okay, now that's it for the light red. Now let's go into the very deep plum red. I'm again scraping some off of the tube. Now for this you want to go in with a very small detailed brush. I'm using the one I use for my eyebrows, and I'm again checking on the back of my hand that there's not too much color on the brush, and I'm just using this to basically define scratches. This is just where scratch is going to be deepest and darkest. And what I'm also gonna do is I'm taking a kitchen sponge, or rather a piece of a kitchen sponge. I'm dipping it into the same dark plum color. And what you want to do is you want to barely touch your skin, but you want to kind of go around and over the scrape just with that sponge. Now, if you find yourself in a situation that you might have applied too much, you just want to go into your colored powder, preferably with a sponge. I'm just going to use the same kitchen sponge that I've used for doing the scrapes. And you want to do basically the same thing. You want to go over everything. And what this is going to do is it brings back the skin color and kind of breaks up the texture of the scratch. So this is a very, very basic kind of scratched look. If you only want something simple for Halloween, that's completely enough. You could also top this off with a little bit of fresh scratch. That's what I'm going to do now, just to kind of top off the look, making it a little bit more realistic, but it's definitely not a must. You could also use the cheap Halloween kind of fake blood that you can get in any craft store or your local drugstores. Yeah, but I'm just gonna finish this off with some fresh scratch, and then I'm gonna be right back. Okay, as you can see, the fresh scratch just really tops the look off, making it look very realistic, and also, you know, just gives a little bit more depth. It's a little bit more interesting. And also it's not gonna run or go anywhere because it's a very sticky blood that really stays where it is, and it also dries down the longer you wear it, so it's not gonna rub off that easily if you're dancing, sweating, you know, that kind of jazz. I think it's a very neat product. If you like Halloween makeup, it's probably worth investing in because you can do so much with it. And even if you do something with latex, which is also very easy, smear a lot of this on top, you know, it's never gonna look bad. So the second look I have for you, I'm just gonna demonstrate on the other side because why not? It's just convenient for me. What you're gonna need is just a few of your eyeshadows, and I'm gonna start off with a brown. I'm just gonna really darken up my lash line or my eyes in general, just to make them look very sunken in and very tired. And I'm just gonna kind of deepen the eye socket and really go into the inner corner, up to my brows, just kind of making everything dark to make it look sunken in. Then going in with the same brush and the black. Focus on keeping the inner corner really, really dark and then smudge out the rest. Once you have that darker base on, I would suggest going into your blush color and just smoke this out even further to give it a more red touch. Then going into a black eyeliner pencil, lining my waterline top and bottom. And I'm very, very messy with this. This means you can also smudge some underneath your lash line. And just take the blending brush you've used to smudge all of this shit out. Then also take a mix between your blush color and the brown shadow, just to smudge around your nose to make it look very irritated and sore. But also, let's not forget around our mouth. Then take some concealer, use it to blank out your lips. Same dark brown shadow again, just put it at the center of your lips to make your lips look a little bit more grayed out and dark. And then take your blush color, press your lips together like so. And then when you open your lips, you will have all this light kind of folds which look very ill and just whoop. What you also want to do is contour a little bit. Now you can use your contour shade, or you can just use the dark brown color that you've used earlier because it's Halloween, nobody cares. And then I'm just taking a small brush because I want to make my cheeks look very hollow and I want the contour to be very strong. So I'm just taking my small eyeshadow brush and I'm just blending the brown shadow and also contouring at the side of my forehead. You can also use the light red and the sponge that we've used earlier to create some fake nosebleed. If you want that to look a little bit more cool and dark, just take some black eyeshadow and just put it on top, and just makes the whole thing a little bit more worn in. As a finishing touch, take your mascara or any old mascara and just run it down, just to give the appearance that you are crying. This is basically the finished look. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna give you some general tips on what you can do to up your Halloween game a bit. If you have some cheap kind of fake blood, which I really would suggest you getting, because you can always make it a little bit better and darker with just some simple food coloring and coffee, and you can add some texture and thickness also with gelatin. So there are plenty of ways to alter your fake blood. So I would really suggest buying some cheap fake blood, which you can also get in those small little tubes, and it's usually pretty light and the color is not the greatest. You can see it's pretty light and not even fresh blood would look like this. Now, what you can do to make it look a little bit more cool without adding any specific non-makeup products is you could take your black eyeliner pencil, and if I wanted to do some on my mouth, like running out of here, you're just gonna paint this area black first. Then you take your fake blood and you first dab it on top. I always go in with a tissue first to kind of pat off some of the excess fake blood, just to give a more natural kind of distribution of the blood. And as you can see, the black just kind of makes the fake blood look a little bit darker. If you want it to be a little bit more softer, the black, you could also use some black lipstick, some black cream paint. But I know that not all of you have those things available, so what you want to do is just work with the things you have. Just put something black or something dark brown underneath, just so the blood has a darker base to stay onto, so it looks a little bit more realistic and a little bit more dried in also. So what are you going to do if you don't have any fake blood and you still want a very, very bloody look? Now that's kind of a steep question. There are plenty of recipes where you can cook your own fake blood, and it is fairly easy. You only have to have those things available. What I did, what I also think works fine, is just taking a fruit syrup and just coloring it with powder food coloring. You need black and you need red and you need your syrup, and it should preferably be like strawberry, something that is very dark and differs between like a plummy red and a red. And those things you can always color to be more color dense, not necessarily to be darker, but to be more color dense, so it isn't as transparent. And so you can kind of color your syrup and making it drip from your mouth, for example. And because there is a lot of sugar in it, it will also dry down like a drying blood would. So it's not necessarily anything that would go lost on you. It's just basically, if you don't have fake blood, it's a great alternative. So these are my Halloween quick tips. I hope you found them helpful. If there's something that comes to my mind later on, I will probably either I will add it into this video, or I will just add it into the into the info box. I hope you're having an awesome Halloween. There's still actually one tutorial to come. Actually, I wanted to do two, but the second one didn't turn out so great, so I think I'm just leaving it at my special effects tutorial that is still to come. And I hope you're having an awesome Halloween, and yeah, let me know what you did. Have an awesome day or night wherever you guys are, and have fun scaring some people.